Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today we're taking a look at the full moon in the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn. It's occurring at 2:37 p.m. Eastern Time at 21 degrees 21 minutes of Capricorn. And let's take a look at the forecast that I've written for the day, and this generally will have some effect too over the next 2 weeks until we reach the new moon. So this is kind of like the rock that gets dropped into the pond, and then as time goes by, the ripples expand outward. Full moon in Capricorn, Wednesday, July 13th, can bring you to the realization that you are responsible for your feelings and choices, and that no one can care for you, fill the emptiness within you, or rescue you, as well as you can do these things for yourself, as the moon and Pluto in Capricorn oppose the sun conjunct Mercury in Cancer, forming a trine aspect to Uranus conjunct the North Node in Taurus, as well as a quincunx aspect to Venus in Gemini, a sextile aspect to Neptune in Pisces, and a square aspect to Mars in Taurus. What you may think of as loss, failure, or a lack of something important holding you back may actually be the reason for future success if it motivates you to use the Sun-Mercury trine to Neptune and sextile to Uranus and the North Node to nurture yourself and believe in your dreams when others may not. It is possible that while Venus is square to Neptune and the Sun and Mercury are square to Jupiter in Aries, the people you would usually turn to for support are so caught up in their personal issues that they are unable to give you the time or attention you crave. Or perhaps your patience is short with those you like or love for the same reason. Those square aspects will conspire to create a space of spiritual quarantine where you experience the best comfort and guidance when you turn within, and there you will find your own inner strength and manifesting power. The trine between Moon Pluto and Uranus North Node can deliver the transformation and change which will bring you the karmic connections and universal support to take you to the next level. But some pre-existing relationships or means of support may have to be released if commitments or contracts have been fulfilled or have come to the end of their purpose. Let go so you can grow. So let's take a look over at what the chart looks like right now for this lunation. And you can see the opposition of the sun and the moon, and there is Mercury a few degrees away from the sun, and we have a little bit looser conjunction there of the moon and Pluto, but this is definitely increasing intensity and the critical feelings where you may be comparing yourself and your progress in life right now on a very material level, or based on whether you feel as though you're able to either give or receive support from those around you. And if you are judging yourself by, let's say, society's expectations or the expectations of your family, that would also be the Cancer energy associated with home and family, and Capricorn associated with success, career, and your reputation in the world. So we have the tension going on between those planets, but then we find that the kind of like the release valve, or where can you direct the energy toward in order to get out of that intense pressure. And it's the planet Uranus with the North Node in Taurus. And there is definitely the opportunity here for changes for the better if you are willing to change. That is the main thing. We also have this trine going on between Mercury and the Sun and Neptune, as well as a sextile here with Pluto and the Moon to Neptune. So we have what I often think of as angel wings, with Uranus and Neptune being at the shoulders of the wings, the energy of being able to rise above something, or basically get yourself out of that extreme tension or negativity. If you're going down the path of thinking everything's terrible, or why can't things get better, they definitely can. And it involves the spirituality, intuition, upliftment of Neptune, and the willingness to change or to look at things in a different way, which is Uranus. Some of the reason behind why I chose an illustration, a picture that has to do with the solace found in being alone, comes through this square of the Sun and Mercury squaring Jupiter, where I think if you're going to be running around looking at externals, you're going to miss out on the little whispering that would be going on inside you that would show you where you can grow or where you are going to be the best provider for yourself, that you may not find it externally, you're going to find it within you. And that is definitely something that Moon Pluto trine to Uranus indicates as well. And we've got that North Node involved, which has to do with fate, destiny, karma, your life lessons, your purpose, why you're here. And pivotal decisions can be made at this time if you are able to break free or change or be open to new ways of looking at things, and if you are willing to believe in yourself without having to rely upon somebody else telling you that you can do it. We have that square I mentioned in the forecast between Venus and Neptune, which can bring the feeling of being let down by others or disappointment in others, or that the love you seek might not be there when you need it, but there's another kind of love that's here in the trine between Venus in Gemini and Saturn in Aquarius, and that's much more detached, logical, friendly, may even be directed more toward group energy or larger organizations that would be there for you, whereas the romantic love energy that a Venus-Neptune aspect produces may be lacking. And if you have expectations of people, because Capricorn energy very often does place expectations or goals as important, then you are liable to be disappointed if people just aren't there for you. And the square here between Mars and Pluto, that can carry energy of anger, rage, indignation, fear of losing something that you think you have, but do you really have it? If you are looking toward somebody else to be providing for you, then that Mars-Pluto square may indicate that maybe they don't come through. Maybe something you counted upon that you really expected to be there is not there. And again, it comes back to you having some power or control over your own feelings and creating your own path forward so that you are not entirely reliant upon somebody else. And that does not mean that you wouldn't have relationships or that you wouldn't have friends or you wouldn't have a life partner or any of those things. It's simply about owning your own stuff and taking care of yourself so that you are the best that you can be, and then you can be also authentic in your relationships. And when you're able to enter into those relationships without the neediness or the clinging, then you're going to have a relationship that's much more equal and not codependent, not where you need to have each other for particular reasons other than you want to be with each other. So the strength that comes from going into the things that feel negative, or maybe your perceived losses or lack, is going to basically make you integrate into yourself better when you are able to see both the light and the shadow within you and be okay with it. So there's a lot of potential in here for you to love yourself more, definitely. We have Venus also making a quincunx here to the Moon and Pluto, and that can help you in a change of your thoughts about yourself and choosing to think in a different way. We have the overtones here of Gemini, which is a communicating, thinking sign. With Venus in Gemini, you can definitely give yourself a new outlook on things. And Mercury in that sextile to Uranus also says the same. It's up to you how you want to think about things. So let's take a look at the Sabian symbol for the day. And we round up to 22 degrees of Capricorn. By accepting defeat gracefully, a general reveals nobility of character. Keynote, the realization that one may grow through defeat as well as, and perhaps more than, through success. Which is pretty much what the energy says in the overall pattern of the planets right now, that we don't just learn from going from one fantastic high peak to another, that we often gain more from the valleys and the hard times or the dark times in our life. While the preceding symbol referred to the drive towards success in culturally organized collective endeavors, this one presents us with the possibility of turning apparent external defeat into an inner spiritual achievement. We have recently seen how totally vanquished nations, Germany and Japan, and this is written a long time ago, so it's not all that recent, have leaped forward and achieved great economic success. Much depends on the quality of the will and the inner integrity of the person. At this second stage, we find what seems to be a paradox, but the spiritual life is always paradoxical. The great sinner can become the most renowned saint, and a medieval pope a criminal. What matters most always is inner strength. So there we have it with the Sabian symbol, and it does seem to align very much with the opposition that's going on here at this full moon, where I feel like the shadows that are at play are actually pivotal, and it's important to go into them deeply, because that's where your success may actually be. Not in hiding or suppressing them, but learning the lessons from them, and then having the breakthrough or the release if that's what comes next for you. Be open to changes, be open to stepping into power, and often changes in power come about because of a crisis, or because you are forced into having to make a change or respond to a crisis with some power. So whether your full moon is going to be challenging for you or relatively quiet may depend a lot upon your own natal chart, and particularly whether you have cardinal signs heavily occupied in your own natal chart. If so, you may be feeling this full moon a bit more strongly than the other signs. But if you are cardinal, Libra, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, then you might have a little bit more intensity going on for you. That's it. Enjoy your full moon. Take care, and I will be doing another recording about 2 weeks from now with a new moon.